Welcome back to another short Legacy League where we have green-white lands versus Temur Delver. So I'm going to direct this the way that I'm actually talking, so I'm not talking about myself in the third person on this match. So I kept 7 here and Andres kept 6. I kept a pretty good hand with a Mox Diamond and a Thespian Stage with an ability to Crucible of Worlds back any lands that I needed, and that was my thought process behind keeping the hand. Granted, we do know he plays Daze and Force of Will and also Force Negation, but I felt like it was a pretty good start for me, as well as I drew a crop rotation there, which gave me even better hopes that I'd actually be able to make a 2020 pretty quick. So he does Force Negation the Crucible, which kind of sucks. Also to note that when I played the Soul Guide Lantern, it does have to target something in the graveyard, not just your opponent's graveyard. So I had to exile my own Beseiju. That was an oversight on my end. I should have played the land first and then played the Shadow Spear after, before I played the Mox Diamond. So that was my fault on that kind of thing. So it did take me off of another land there if I would have had the Life from the Loam or even my Crucible there. So I'm going to try and make the best out of this game as we can kind of thing. We're a little shy on what we want to do. I do think about making a 2020 at the end of turn, especially since he doesn't have a Wasteland here. In hindsight, I probably should have gone and gotten a Urza Saga instead. I was worried about a Brazen Borrower, which he does have in his hand, and then right here he rips a Wasteland off the top as well. So it's like double whammy for my 2020. Once I saw that Wasteland came down, I knew I should have gotten the Urza Saga, because if he would have Wastelanded the Urza Saga, I could have at least copied it with a Thespian Stage. If not, I at least could have gotten one construct out of it. Here I draw a Sphere. I do have a Life from the Loam, which again would have been amazing if I would have gotten an Urza Saga instead of the 2020, or the Dark Depths to make the 2020. He's pretty much rolled up against me here, and there's not too much I can do. It's kind of hoping I can draw out and find an answer. But only seeing 1 card a turn and loaming, I guess I'm technically seeing 3 cards a turn from the loam. I have to find something to slow him down. And even then, he does have the Wasteland and he has the Brazen Borrower. So I'd need a Wasteland him with him completely tapping out to get a 2020 going here. So it doesn't look too great for me. I do Dredge Loam. I think I only find 1 land off of this, which is... I find 2. I find a Maze of Ith and a Savannah. So the Maze of Ith is... I'm thinking, great, I can get this Maze of Ith out, and then I can work through the... or at least hold off this Dragon Range Chandler for a couple turns with the Maze of Ith. And that's kind of where I'm thinking. I don't think anything about the Sphere, because I can't really afford to tap down the lands against what he has. He's already developed enough mana for it not to matter. Another mistake I made was not using the Soul Guide Lantern during his upkeep to keep him off of the Murktide. So I've made that mistake a couple times online and in paper as well, where I have the ability to get rid of their graveyard and don't. Here I'm choosing to make a copy of Andres' Wasteland. He takes a few minutes to think about it, or a few seconds, I should say, to think about it. He does let me have it. I wasn't really expecting him to let me have it. I was kind of hoping he would Wasteland it, or Wasteland me, or Wasteland something else in response to it to keep me off of it, so I could loam back during my turn and try and get something going. So I am going to try and Wasteland his Wasteland. He's going to actually fire back off and hit my Maze of Ith, which wasn't the one I thought he was going to hit, but I understand why he did. I thought he would at least go for the Dark Depths, but it makes more sense for him to go for the Maze of Ith, because now I have to spend my turn buying back the Maze of Ith and putting it back out into play. So I typically cut out this long thinking section in normal games, but since I'm narrating this in first person as opposed to third person, I left it in just so I could tell you that my thought process here was playing the sphere here, and then using the Life from the Loam, playing my Savannah out of my hand, and then Life from the Loaming, and then taking a hit from the Murktide and the Dragon's Race Chandler, since it would only be 7 damage and I'm at 14. And that would give me a turn to develop a little bit more land, as well as give myself a safeguard against anything that's happening, and try and get the game under control by having a Maze of Ith out, eventually copying it with the Thespian Stage, and being able to do that. So the other thought process was he may have counter magic, and I prefer him to hit the sphere, because he is tapped out. Because if he's tapped out and he doesn't counterspell it, and he has one in his hand, then I can loam safely as well. So I do exactly what I wanted to do. Chose not to pay for the days because I wanted to loam there. So sphere does go bye-bye. Unfortunately, he does rip another Wasteland, which puts me in pretty bad shape. He swings in for 7 here, putting me down to 5. I believe he Chain Lightnings me as well. It's putting me down to 2. Luckily, he doesn't flip a creature off the top or an artifact off the top, so I don't just immediately die. But, I mean, I'm put to 2 life here. So my only way out, realistically, is dredge, get my Maze of Ith back in play. Even then, I don't think it's quite enough to get it going. I play that, make the 20/20, thinking, well, I'll block the Murktide, and he unfortunately has the Brazen Borrower that he's been holding since the very beginning of the game, which he then told me. That's why I knocked his deck over. We'll see you in game number 2. If you've been enjoying our content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Welcome back to game 2. I'm on the play this time. I kept 7. Andres kept 6 again. I have a really strong start here as well. He does Force of Will my Exploration, but it's not the end of the world. It's a 2-for-1 early in the game with him mulliganing, so he's automatically down to 4 cards before the game even starts. He does have a good start here with the Dragon's Race Chandler and a Bauble to really kind of set the tone of this game. I do have a Wasteland in my hand, and my thought process is literally Wasteland him out of the game. So I play the Wasteland first, beat a Daze if he has one with his Retrofitter Foundry. He is holding a Meltdown, which I didn't know he had, but we Wasteland him anyway. And that's kind of the precipice of the game. I did keep this with a Swords of Posture in hand, hoping to draw a Plains at some point, so I could at least control the board a little bit, but it doesn't quite happen that way. He does have a Wasteland in his hand, but he chooses not to play it, which I find interesting, because I play a Wasteland right here, and I guess he doesn't think that it's a good idea to Wasteland me, because I do have the Loams and it is his only mana source. He attacks for 1. I immediately trade with a Servo to clear the board, and from here I'm feeling pretty good. Of course, I'm always a little hesitant to feel good about playing against Delver in general, just because they are such a fast deck that can get their feet underneath them pretty quick out of nowhere. So a little concern there. Go ahead and play out an Elvish Reclaimer, which Andres has to 2-for-1 himself again here, and that definitely makes me feel even better, kind of thing, because he just wants to keep the board clear until he can do something with it. Still has the Wasteland, but at this point it doesn't make sense for him to play it at all. I have 2 Wastelands and 2 green mana sources. Retrofitter Foundry's online now with a Shadow Spear. So this game is in pretty good control by me. Of course, 2 lands and he's in it, which I don't think he would ever get to unless he found a fetch land. At that point, a fetch land would definitely hurt, because I would Wasteland and then I'd Wasteland again just to keep him off of the Meltdown. So equip that Shadow Spear over attack for 2 and start to gain some life, and try and really get this moving to make another Servo at the end of his turn. He draws a Force of Will, and he's not too happy about that, and he packs it up. We'll see you in game number 3. If you've been enjoying our content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Welcome back to game number 3. I kept 6 here, Andres kept 7. He's on the play this time, leading off on a Volcanic and a Delver. It's a pretty good start here from him. I hope to resolve this exploration, which I do. So he keeps a little bit more tempo-based hand as opposed to a control-y hand, and that lets me kind of get my things going on my side too. Feeling pretty good here. Just hoping to dodge a Wasteland this turn to get my Urza Saga online and start pumping out constructs. Luckily, I do dodge the Wasteland coming up here in a second, not to give any spoilers or anything. I'll let Andres finish his brainstorm here. He's wanting to flip this Delver early, so he brainstorms in his upkeep, which he does. He flips a Ponder, flips a Delver, and we're on our way. So plays his land number 2 for turn, and I believe attacks for 3 and passes back to me is what happens here. Yep, there's the 3, and he's getting a Volcanic and playing a Dragon Rage Chandler, second main phase. So we're in pretty good shape here. We've got some lands to put down. We've got the Maze of Ith to ward off some creature damage, and we've got our Elvish Reclaimer, who is still only a 1/2, so he gets got by a bolt. But again, hoping to fade anything like that. And we'll see Andres play another Dragon's Rage Chandler on his main 1, and then we'll see a Ponder from him as well. Double triggers. Takes a minute to look and see if he wants to keep it on top or he wants to push it. He gets rid of 1 land, gets rid of, looks like another Dragon's Rage Chandler, and then he's going to draw the 3 here. Take a look and see what he's got. Here, again, just hoping to fade a Wasteland, because the Construct army is very important for me. I do fade the Wasteland. He does have a Trop. So something else I was thinking right here was trying to maybe go for a Wasteland plan if he didn't play the 3rd land. I'd rotate for a Wasteland, and then I would make a construct at the end of turn. Nope. I'd rotate for a Wasteland, and then I would get a map off of Saga, get another Wasteland, play it for turn, and then cycle for or rotate for a Tabernacle. But he played the 3rd land, so that all bets were off at that point, kind of thing. But I was thinking that before he played his 3rd land, that I could Wasteland him out and then Tabernacle him out. But didn't come to fruition. Not the end of the world. I still have lands to play, and I've got a pretty decent army here. And then I played the Soul Guide Lantern, trying to play around a Daze, which he does have in his hand, actually. Didn't know he did, but I was trying to play around it because I didn't want to equip the construct quite yet, because I want to play around the Daze. And if I had to play around the Daze and tap a mana, I'd still have the Maze of Ith up to at least ward off 3 damage. And then my thought process here, once he Force of Wills me, is, well, I can go ahead and equip the construct attack for 4, and that will give me 1 life extra than what the maze would save me, kind of thing. So I was like, all right, well, I can gain 4 life here. I'll take 9 next turn, but I'm out of bolt range, and he only has 1 card in hand, or he has no cards in hand now, which is why I choose to equip an attack, because I pick up 1 extra life total from the attack, as opposed to just mazing and losing 6. So essentially, I take 5 damage here on the attack, which is kind of nice. So he does find a Brainstorm right off the top. He didn't know that was there from the other Brainstorm. He's hoping to find a Meltdown off of this. He does see a Wasteland, and he chooses to get rid of it. So his plan is to find a Meltdown to just end this game right here, kind of thing. If he would have dug, I think, 1 deeper, because he chooses to keep this card on top. This is very interesting because he kept the card that was on top, picked it up, and then drew 3 for the brainstorm. I was reminding him that he already had 1 in hand, so he could only draw 2. And then he goes to play his land here, and I remind him he has to put 2 back. And then he says, I want to keep all 3 of them. So it's a good thing that he didn't get to keep all 3 of those, because it was a Murktide, a land, and a Brazen Borrower, and that would have just dumpstered me. So you have that. Got some interesting play patterns coming up here in a minute. He attacks for 9. Of course, I take it. So we're going to untap here and get a draw. Not quite sure what I drew here. It was a Retrofitter Foundry. So it does pump up my guy a little bit. And I'm thinking that I should probably hold that back to block, because I plan on rotating with the Reclaimer for a Bajuka Bog during his upkeep. And it's a good thing I did hold that back, because he does bounce this one, and the damage doesn't really... I'm nowhere close to killing him within like 2 or 3 turns kind of thing, because he can always hold a Delver back to block an Untrampler kind of thing. We know he has a Murktide coming up. We don't know he has a Murktide, but we do because we're sitting here. But in the game, we don't know. And I can make servos to pump my guys up as well. So I've got a couple things that I have to make a decision on, knowing I'm staring down lethal realistically, but I wait till after he draws, and that's when I use the Reclaimer to activate and go get Bajuka Bog. Bogging him here actually won me this game, so that was the right decision to do that. I got in game 1 by not respecting the Murktide. So we'll see an attack here. A mistake I made was not just making a servo and blocking everything, taking that other Dragon's Rage Chandler off the board as well, and sacrificing the servo. I think I thought I didn't have enough mana, but at the end of turn, I looked down and realized I had enough mana. You can see that there. And I was like, oh shit. But it ends up working out for me, because I can re-equip on the construct and get all of the life back that I lost last turn. Here, I choose not to make a construct, and I believe that's because I want as much mana available as I can get to A, equip, and B, use that map as well the following turn, because I want another Saga. I probably should have used it there, but I think I also wanted to leave open my Reclaimer in case I needed it for something as well. End of my turn, he puts the Brazen Borrow in. Just didn't tap the lands for it, and we'll see an attack here. I can't. All right, that's why I didn't do it. I wanted to leave the Foundry available to make a flyer to block, as well as Maze of Ith there, and then also still use the map at the end of turn. So that's what I was thinking. And now that I'm watching it again, that's exactly what happened. Of course, everything changes right here on this draw step. I pick up the Crucible of Worlds, and that basically just opens up my entire graveyard to my sagas that I already have there. So the saga I went and got is, of course, worthless now, but well, not worthless, but I didn't need to go get it. I could have gotten a utility land or something else, maybe another Maze of Ith or Thespian Stage or something. So I make another servo here, and I'm able to attack for 5, pick up 5 life, and the game's pretty much over there. Andres is just looking to see what he can find, and his next card was Questing Druid into Meltdown. Thanks for watching. If you've been enjoying our content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below.